Have you ever noticed something interesting about love? Not the kind in songs, but something deeper. When someone truly awakens to life, they carry a quiet understanding that changes how they relate to others. It's not about becoming special. It's about seeing things as they are. Think about how we usually connect. Two people meet and share their best stories. They show their polished sides, like carefully arranged flowers in a vase. Each hopes the other will see the beauty and not notice the stems beneath. This dance feels natural. We call it romance. It works because both agree to believe in the surface. But when you truly awaken, something shifts. You start to notice your own performance. You see yourself trying to be charming and realize it's just a habit, a way you learn to get approval. Even more, you see through others' performances too. You stand before them without any masks, just as you are. No pretending to be better or more complete. Just this simple presence. And that honesty can feel unsettling to those who still believe in their roles. What happens when you stop pretending? When you no longer play the game of, I am this type of person, looking for that type. People don't know how to approach you. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you grasp, the more it slips away. Our usual ways of bonding rely on fitting into roles and promises. The unawakened person seeks someone to complete them, like finding a missing piece. But the awakened soul is already whole. They aren't half of anything. When two whole people meet, it's not about filling voids. It's about sharing fullness. Most aren't ready for that. They prefer need meeting need. That clinging feels like love, but it's really just two people avoiding their own emptiness. Imagine you're at a gathering. Someone asks what you do or where you're headed in life. If you're awake, you can't answer in the usual way without sounding unusual. The honest response might be, I'm just here, flowing with life. Everything is unfolding as it should. Try that and watch. The person may smile and move on to someone with a clear plan. Someone easier to understand. People want to connect with characters in a story, not the silence between the words. They want predictability. The awakened person has no fixed story. They're simply present. The more you see through the idea of a separate self, the harder it is to join the usual relationship dance. That dance requires two people who believe they're independent entities. It needs someone to say, I need you, with that deep urgency that inspires poetry, but often leads to struggle. That need fuels what we call romance. But when you've awakened, you can't say, I need you, in that way. Not because you're cold, but because you've seen that the I and you are part of a larger whole. You've peeked behind the curtain and seen how it works. You can't unsee it, and you won't pretend just to comfort others. So you stand there, open and available, yet impossible to own. Most people mistake possession for love. We say, my partner, as if they belong to us. When they leave, we feel robbed. But the awakened person can't be owned because they don't even own themselves. How can you hold someone who knows they're not a separate thing? It's like catching smoke. You see it, but when you reach, there's nothing to grasp. Here's where it gets beautiful. The awakened person loves, deeply and truly, but it's a love without hooks or conditions. It doesn't ask for anything back because there's no separate self to receive. It's like sunlight. The sun doesn't choose where to shine, it just shines. That's its nature. The awakened person loves in this unconditional way, yet most don't want that love. They want the kind with terms. I love you because you make me feel whole. That love comes with invisible expectations. A silent agreement neither states, but both feel. It's like a business deal dressed as romance. The awakened soul can't join this. Not from superiority, but because they see the mechanism clearly. They can't fake neediness or create anxiety that makes possession feel safe. They can't pretend someone else makes them whole, knowing they were never broken. They move through the world of relationships like a sober person at a lively party. Everyone else is caught in the drama, the highs and lows of romantic love. The awakened one watches with gentle curiosity. Like an adult seeing children play an intense game. They appreciate the beauty, but can't lose themselves in it. And losing yourself is what falling in love is about. We say, I lost myself in love. The language tells the truth. Romantic love offers a taste of no separation, a momentary unity that feels ecstatic. But it fades, and you're separate again, chasing that feeling with new people. You think it's about them, but it's really about briefly dropping your walls. The awakened person doesn't need another to experience this. The walls are already down. They live in that unity others seek through relationships. They offer what everyone wants, but in a form no one recognizes. It's like giving free water to the thirsty, but the water isn't in a fancy bottle. It's just water. People walk by because it doesn't match their idea of what they need. They want the container, the form, someone who needs them back and will play the game earnestly. The awakened person can't do that convincingly. So they become untouchable, not by choice, but because they've moved beyond the system that makes ordinary love work. They're like a butterfly among caterpillars. The caterpillars aren't interested in flight. They're busy crawling together. The butterfly can't return to crawling. It's not a decision. It's an irreversible change. You can't unsee what you've seen. Some might wonder, what about two awakened people? Could they be together? When two awakened ones meet, they don't have a relationship in the usual sense. There's no drama of separation and reunion. They enjoy each moment without stories of past or future. They dance without stepping on toes because no one leads. It's not a relationship, it's a communion. But communion is rare. Most awakened souls walk among those still dreaming, still believing in separation, still searching for that special someone. The awakened person feels deep compassion, remembering what that was like. They recall the hunger, the search, the belief that happiness was just one person away. It's like remembering a childhood dream, vivid but not real anymore. So they are alone in a way, but not lonely. Loneliness comes from feeling separate and longing for connection. The awakened person is never lonely because they're connected to everything. They're like the ocean feeling itself as a wave. Yet they are solitary because few can meet them where they are. Most relationships ask you to pretend to be smaller, to squeeze into the costume of a separate person with needs and fears. The awakened one can't do that. The costume no longer fits. They live loving everyone but belonging to no one, open to all but possessed by none. This is the quiet price of awakening. You gain the whole universe, but lose the ability to play the game that makes most feel alive. You see the truth, but few laugh with you. You are free, yet freedom looks like loneliness to those in chains. And yet it's perfectly complete. The awakened person doesn't feel they're missing out. They don't wish to fall in love like others. They aren't hungry for companionship. They are whole. And wholeness is what everyone seeks through others, but can only find within. You can't find completeness in another person, only by realizing there is no separate self to complete. This is why the awakened soul can't find love. They are love. They've become what everyone searches for. You can't find what you already are. The search ends, but the party continues. Everyone is still looking. The awakened one sits quietly, radiating love to all who pass. But rarely do people stop. They're too busy seeking love to notice it right here. And that is life's gentle joke. Its tragedy and its perfection. The awakened person becomes love itself, and in doing so, becomes impossible to love in the usual way. They've moved beyond the game. Once you transcend it, you can't return and play it seriously. You're done, complete, whole, and beautifully alone in the crowd. Not because no one loves them, but because everyone does, and no one knows.